Hey everybody, I am David, and today I want to do my superhero TV podcast where I will be talking about Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Black Lightning, Daredevil today I'll be talking about, as well as any other superhero TV shows, live action, that will be coming out. That's right, I want to keep it to live action because if I start adding the animated shows of all these superhero things, it's too much to get through, and I can't. I can't. But the superhero live action stuff, I think, is the one, as we get older, we all want to see, because it's like, we've seen these things when we were kids as cartoons and comic books, but we never got to see them in real life, and to see where we are today with superheroes, with movies and TV shows, I think we live in a really good time to be a superhero fan. And let's get right through this, guys. Now, last week I missed out because I had a cold, a really bad cold. I still kind of, my voice might sound a little nasally because I still sort of have it, but it's not as bad as last week, thank God. So let's get right into this. I want to talk about Daredevil first, because I binged all of Daredevil last week. Sick or not, I binged through it all. And I'm going to admit that in the beginning, the first 3 episodes, maybe, it was a little too slow. But after the first 3 episodes, it literally starts picking up really well. And you get more invested into the characters. And I gotta say, Daredevil is hands down the best of the Netflix shows. I've always thought that. I really liked season 1 a lot. I thought it was a little overrated the way people always talked about it. Season 2, I liked a lot more. I agreed with people in season 2. It was like, especially bringing in Punisher was a really nice touch. Season 3, I think, continues off like season 2. Season 2, it was more or less the same problems. But I will say, I think I enjoyed this season the best out of all 3 Daredevil seasons. I really liked seeing Wilson Fisk back. I think Vincent D'Onofrio does a terrific job at playing this character. I would love to see him in a Spider-Man movie. I don't know how you would pull off the tones, because Spider-Man is obviously a little bit more fun to be in, where Daredevil is a darker show, and the Kingpin can be a really dark character. Can you put him in a lighter tone movie and maybe tone down the violence with him? I think you can. Especially since Spider-Man can kind of make fun of the Kingpin in a lot of ways. Um, but for what he was in this show, I really thought he was even better than he was in season 1. So there's that. I really liked the character of Karen Page in this season, and I thought she was starting to get annoying in season 2. So to have her, for myself, redeem herself in this season, yeah, there was even an episode that focused on her that I really enjoyed, seeing her past with her father and her brother back in before she met Matt Murdock and Nelson, Foggy Nelson. Bullseye was such a great villain, a great new addition to the season. I thought it was something you care. Like they had the FBI agent. I forgot the character's name, but he was a nice addition, I thought, to the show too. And I was kind of sad where his character went. No spoilers if you haven't seen Daredevil season 3. But yeah, for the most part, Daredevil season 3 was amazing. And I know we got these announcements. I did a video of it, a separate video, where Luke Cage and Iron Fist are now canceled, and a lot of people are worried that this could mean that Daredevil could be on the chopping block next, along with Jessica Jones and the Punisher. The Punisher and Daredevil being the 2 best ones. Jessica Jones has one good season with me and one not so great season. I'd be willing to give Jessica Jones another go around though, because I really like that first season a lot. I really thought it was well done. But hey, whatever the situation is behind the scenes, I really do hope that they get things sorted out and work things out, because I would love to see a Daredevil season 4 by this point. I want to see the Punisher season 2, because I really like that first season of the Punisher, and like I said, Jessica Jones, I'd be willing to give another go. I'm kind of sad that Iron Fist and Luke Cage were canceled because I was still watching those, and I was disappointed with the last season of Luke Cage, but I didn't hate Luke Cage. I still enjoyed. I still thought there was like the Luke Cage and Iron Fist episode in season 2 of Luke Cage. That was a great episode. I kind of wish we got more of that. And that's what my theory is that maybe Netflix is canceling both of them to do a Heroes for Hire TV series. That is one possibility. They haven't announced that, and maybe they're keeping it a surprise. I don't know. I just find it odd that they would be just canceling them like that. And the Defenders had to do pretty decent, right? Especially if people love Daredevil. Like, you would watch the Defenders because Daredevil is in there, and Jessica Jones was popular at the time too. So you would think that people would have watched, like, a combination of all those fans would have watched the Defenders, right? It would have been like similar to the Arrowverse crossovers. The Arrowverse crossovers are still some of the highest rated episodes of all the shows because it's grabbing fans from each of those series. Yeah, there's people that also watch all the series, but there are some people that only watch Arrow or only watch Flash, and that's why the crossover episodes are usually the highest ones because it is grabbing fans from all of those angles. So I would have thought the Defenders would have been something similar, right? It would have grabbed a little bit of the Daredevil fans, a little bit of the Jessica Jones fans, a little bit of everybody else who's watching all of them. But I guess not. So we'll see. I'm hoping for another Defenders, and maybe that way Luke Cage and Iron Fist can carry on in that show, but it's not looking very likely. Um, Moving on, let's move on to. Let me give my final rating for Daredevil. I'm going to give Daredevil season 3 9 out of 10. I really thought the first 3 episodes I would have given like a 7 or 8 because it was a slow build up. But I think as things built up, and I didn't even mention the whole situation with the nun in this season. There is a nun in this season that sort of takes care of Daredevil, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. But I really love that storyline and where it went. And if you know the comics, you know that it's similar to the comics. Let's put it that way. And even the Ben Affleck movie kind of hinted at that as well. That something to do with a nun. Again, I don't want to spoil it, so maybe we should move on. 9 out of 10 would be Daredevil season 3. That's about the same that I would have given season 2. Season 1, I probably would have given an 8 out of 10. So with that being said, moving on to the DC stuff now. So hopefully some of you are fans of this stuff too. If not, don't worry about it. I put Daredevil first, just in case there's only Daredevil fans. But now we can get on to the DC Arrowverse shows. Starting with Supergirl, Fallout was the episode title's name. Look, because I didn't review the episodes last week, I'll kind of lump it in with all these shows. I am loving all the Arrowverse returns right now. Everything that's going on in Supergirl is so much better than what was happening last year with Supergirl. Season 3 of Supergirl was the worst season of Supergirl to date, but I am enjoying these next 2 episodes. I feel like Brainiac, or not, Brainiac 5, yeah, Brainy. I feel like they've been improving him. I've actually laughed at a couple of his moments in this episode. I am really liking Mercy Graves and Otis. I didn't realize last week that was them, probably because I wasn't feeling well still. But when I this week I noticed that they were calling them Otis and Mercy Graves. For people that know the comics and maybe even the animated series, Mercy Graves was like Lex Luthor's bodyguard and limo driver back in Superman the animated series. She became a popular character enough that they eventually brought her into the comics as well, and they even had her in Batman v Superman as well as Lex's bodyguard secretary. And Otis, for those of you that know the original Superman movie from 1978 with Gene Hackman, Ned Beatty played Otis in that series, in that movie, in the first two Superman movies with Christopher Reeve. Yeah, and obviously the revelation that Linda Carter, President Linda Carter, is an alien to the world now. Everybody knows, and they had to have her be impeached. I hate all these superheroes and good people being impeached. Meanwhile, anyways, um, let's keep real life out of the TV shows. I did like that moment though when the new president was being brought in that Supergirl, even though it was another white male, Supergirl was showing her respects to the new president still. So um, good for that. But it's good to have more diversity uh, out there. People, even in people in power, it's good to have diversity to show the world that where we can make peace and it doesn't matter who is in charge. But I do kind of like that Supergirl is touching on these tones, but I do wonder if it's bothering other people, like if other people are not are is feeling that Supergirl is getting too political, which it does feel like a little bit. And it's okay for a show, I think, to be a little political, but I feel like it's getting a little bit more political than a Captain America movie. And Captain America, that's the most political you can get with a name like that. But even those movies don't feel political, not to the extent that Supergirl is right now. They feel like they're preaching their politics to your face. And for me, it's fine because I agree with the politics of the show that we should all accept diversity and people's differences, etc. But I can see people feeling like I feel like I'm being preached at, and I don't want to watch this. Um, so the show should be careful with that. Like you want to be subtle, you don't want to be in your face because some people don't like being preached, and I understand that. Moving on to Legends of Tomorrow, the Virgin Gary. I gotta say, man, Legends. This was its episode back this week. I loved this episode. I was laughing hysterically, so loud. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I love that Constantine is back on this show. I think he fits so well with the Legends, which is funny because I was just watching the pilot episode of his show, his solo show that got canceled after 13 episodes. And it's such a different show than what Legends is. And to see him fit so well with this show, I'm excited, and I do have some theories on what happened there at the end of the episode. At the end of the episode, it looked like he was being attacked by a demon of some sort. I have a feeling this is going to tie back to his series because back in the pilot episode of his show, there was a demon that kidnapped a girl a long time ago that he failed to save. And they kind of brought this up in his first appearance on Legends. They kind of reminded people who didn't watch that show that there was a failure of his that he regrets. On the mirror it wrote in blood, I guess, "I'm coming for you, Johnny." And I have a feeling that's going to be the demon that was in Constantine's TV series. I think that would be pretty cool to pick up a storyline from Constantine's series that was never wrapped up. Since you have this character, why not bring that story in and wrap it up for those creators that they weren't able to continue with that? I think it would be a smart move. Um, the legends were hilarious in this episode, specifically that scene where they're all getting high. I was going throughout this entire episode how much I love the legends because of how their chemistry is. And there literally was a scene where a unicorn stabs a hippie and then eats his heart. And This was right after I was saying, man, I love the Legends, and then I'm like, like horrified at what the heck is going on. I loved it. I thought it was great. So Virgin Gary, and then Gary getting into the mix at the end. They needed a virgin, and I like Gary's line. But what about that thing when he was talking to Constance? What about that thing we did? Oh, that was nothing, Gary. Don't worry about that. And then it looks like it might have been something because the demon or the unicorn tried killing him still, anyways. So I don't know. There's a lot of mysteries between Gary and Constantine's relationship. But yeah, this season is on a nice little start. Next, Arrow, the Longbow Hunters. I didn't talk about last week's episode as well, so let me get into Arrow episode 1 and 2. Arrow's on a good start, man. Arrow might be my favorite of all the DC TV shows. Season 3, half of the season I really loved, half of the season was a little cringeworthy. Season 4 was the worst season of Arrow, but I felt starting with Season 5, it found its way back. Season 6, okay, it wasn't as good as Season 5, but it still was, I thought, pretty good. Season 6, or Season 7, I should say, looks like it's going to follow suit of Season 5, I hope. Because the first 2 episodes, with Oliver in prison, with what's going out of the prison, with Diggle being in Argus, how Wild Dog and Black Canary and Black Siren, how they're all dealing with situations and things, Felicity as well. I don't hate Felicity as much as some other fans out there do. I think she can be hit or miss. I don't like when she gets into the melodrama, but I do like her in these previous 2 episodes, and how she's even making a deal with the FBI agent who put Oliver in jail. She's making a deal with him, or her, to get Diaz, who is still running around out there causing trouble. He even threatened Felicity and William in the first episode this season. Yeah, I'm loving everything, especially Oliver's storyline, and the show should always be focused on Oliver because that's who we're watching Arrow for. When we watch Supergirl, we're watching it for Supergirl. When we're watching Flash, we're watching it for Flash. And then when we're watching it for Legends, it's an ensemble, so we're watching it for all those characters. So, yeah, Arrow is amazing, and I can't wait to see what they got planned from here on out. Flash. We got the death of Vibe. I am loving Nora this season. I am very invested into this Psychotic character. We got a little bit more depth to him, or a little bit more clues to him in this episode because Nora recognized him, and but she didn't have too much information on him to really give us a full idea who this character is. Although they kind of gave us a little bit more clues by the end of the episode, where we saw him visiting his daughter, it looks like, in the hospital. So why is he trying to kill Flash and Cisco and Ralph and even some of the metahumans they're fighting? I have no idea, but this is 3 episodes in, and I think I'm more invested into Psychota than I was with the Thinker. I thought the Thinker, there were some episodes that focused on the Thinker that were pretty good, and then there were some episodes that were really boring. I think Psychota is a perfect villain. I think he has potential to be one of the greater villains for the Flash. It's all depends on how it's executed and what his plan is. Because if his plan is something stupid, I still don't even know what the Thinker's plan was, what he was trying to accomplish, because I thought it was so stupid. Something that I didn't like about the death of Vibe, though, the episode is called The Death of Vibe. They make us think he killed him, but obviously Vibe didn't. And we didn't want Cisco to die anyways. But I hate when they call it the death of Vibe, and it really didn't have much to do with Vibe's death. I really do like the new Harrison Wells, the detective Sherlock, or yeah, Sherlock Wells, I guess, right? Yeah, I'm liking this new Wells. I don't know if this Wells is the one we're gonna be keeping this season, but if we are, I'm okay with it. At first, I wasn't too sure because he seemed a little bit too silly. Not as silly as other Welleses that we've seen, but more sillier than H.R. Wells, the Harry Wells from Earth 2 is the one that I always thought they would keep. Um, but this Wells at the end there when he was figuring out who Nora was, but not letting it on too much. Um, that's where I was like, okay, maybe this Wells might be an interesting addition because he seems to be really smart. He can be funny at times, which I like when Tom Cavanaugh gets to be funny. So because obviously Harry Wells, they tried to make him funny, but it seemed out of character for him because in season 2 he was so serious and badass. I am liking the funny side of Tom Cavanaugh once in a while because he does seem like that kind of actor that can pull that off. I think he might be even one of my favorite actors from the Arrowverse. So, with that being said, yeah, Flash is going on strong this season as well. This is something that I've been asking for. I wanted all my Arrowverse shows to 1 year have all of them be fun and entertaining, and I feel like I'm getting that this season. I don't want to get my hopes up too much because we're still early on and we might get a couple of stumbles here and there. But hey, if we have more positive episodes than lame episodes, I'll be so happy with The Flash and Arrow and Supergirl and Legends. So I hope all the shows continue doing what they're doing right now because I think they're on a roll. I think this could be the best year for the Arrowverse yet. Um, and that crossover, man, everything I'm seeing and hearing about this crossover, I'm super excited. Finally, last but not least, Black Lightning. I saw its second episode. I just watched the second episode now on Netflix because I can only watch it on Netflix. I know the third episode aired this week on cable. I don't have cable anymore, so I'm watching Black Lightning on Netflix. The Book of Consequences, Chapter 2, Black Jesus Blues. Yeah, this was a nice episode. Look, Black Lightning is, I'm not going to lie, it's not my favorite of the shows so far this year. Last year, I would have said differently because Flash and Supergirl were really low on me last year. So I liked Black Lightning a little bit more last year because of that. This year, right now, it's only the first two episodes, but I am really enjoying them. I'm liking everything that they're doing. I just saw that kid that was killed in the first episode, then brought back to life. And now they just learned that when he looks at people, his veins or something starts glowing, and he can get people to tell the truth. I thought that was an interesting thing. Khalil came back and visited Jennifer, and Jennifer wants nothing to do with him because he almost killed Black Lightning last year, and she even pushed him off the roof. He jumped back up though because he has powers, thanks to Tobias Whale. And Tobias Whale is a mafia boss, so he's threatening to kill Khalil, and Khalil's asking for help. Will he get that help? Maybe. I think he will. I think we'll see Khalil get redemption on what he did last season. Maybe. Or maybe he'll be killed. I don't know what I want from that character. I thought he was okay last season until he turned bad. Then I was like, okay, this character's no good. Get rid of him. Um, I almost teared up. I'm going to admit this. I almost teared up when, because they did this starting in the first episode. They started doing this resignation of Jefferson being principal of the school. You know, they want to take him down. They think he should leave. And there was the whole ending of the episode of episode 2 where he's talking to his students as, you know, his goodbye speech. And then the students start reminding him of the advice that Jefferson has given all his students throughout the years, and reminding him that, hey, the future could still be good. It's what you make it. I'm probably screwing that up, but I did like how the students were kind of like showing him respect and reminding him of how much he helped them. That's how I looked at it, anyways. Um, Other than that, look, the season I think is doing well. 2 episodes in, we're gonna have to see if where it goes from here. But look, I don't hate Black Lightning. I love it. I like it a lot. It just hasn't reached that episode. I haven't gotten an episode yet where I'm like at the edge of my seat, super excited. Like, man, I don't want to use the Arrowverse crossovers as an example, but like, when you go and watch Arrow, there's that episode back in season 3 where Roz and Oliver are fighting on a mountain. Oliver gets stabbed, kicked off the mountain. You're left wondering what the heck just happened. I think that's it. There's no mystery in Black Lightning, and I think for the Arrowverse shows, they got me so used to that that's what I like, the twists and turns once in a while with those shows. And Black Lightning is just a straightforward TV series, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it humanizes the characters a little bit more, and I just feel like I would like the stakes to get bigger and badder, and I think it will this season. Tobias Whale, I think, is not going to hold back, especially with what happened to him losing against Black Lightning last year. So I am looking forward to Black Lightning and seeing where it's going to go. Yeah, it's a good show. Just currently, it's my least favorite of all the superhero shows I'm watching right now, and I just don't want people to get the wrong idea about that. So, with that being said, guys, it's almost 30 minutes into this video, so I'm going to end this here. Leave down your thoughts on any of the DCTV shows. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel. There's no right or wrong answers. Tell me which shows you're really enjoying out of all of these shows. If you only enjoy the Netflix shows, tell me your thoughts on the Netflix shows. If you love the Arrowverse, give me your thoughts on the Arrowverse. Which ones you think are good, which ones you think are bad. There's no right or wrong answers. At the end of the day, it's just an opinion. So I hope you guys please subscribe, and until next time, take care.